2023 was such an amazing year for me in terms of books. Hey guys, hi. Today I'm here to share with you all my all 5-star reads of the year 2023. I have read a total of 167 books this year, among which 28 of them have been rated as 5 stars. Out of which again I have just two physical books which has been rated 5-star, and other 26 of them are totally ebooks. So let's get into the books which are so close to my heart. So the first book which I have read this year, it's my first 5-star read of this year, and it's To Love Jason Thorne by Ella Mays. This book follows Jason and Olive, who are childhood friends, two lovers, but all those years ago Jason broke her heart. And now it would be easy to avoid Jason, right? But it's impossible because Olive has become a bestseller in novels, and her first novel is being converted into a movie in which Jason is starring as the main character. So what happens? For that you need to read this book. This was an amazing book. It was everything from friends to lovers. With Jason having a bad boy reputation, you get hints of bad boy things, and then their romance, the characters, everything was perfect in this book, which actually set the level for the next book. So yes, this was my first 5-star read. Moving into my last 5-star read of this month, which is which is Archer's Voice, as I've discussed last video. It's by Mia Sheridan. This book follows Archer and Bree. Archer is a local mute known by all for being broody and not talking to all. Some things he has, someone thinks he has some mental issues, while some others think something else. And Bree is, after facing traumatic events, she comes to Pelion for an escape. There she meets Archer, and that's where the story starts slowly building up. This book was an exceptional read. Honestly, I feel this was the best book which I read this year, because with all the emotional thing going on, this book has an essence to it. Again, moving to Bree and Archer, they are the perfect couple in this book. Like slowly Bree helping Archer to come out of his shell, and then Archer, just so that he is worthy of Bree, doing things, coming out of his comfort zone, mingling with people. This was perfect. This book was everything. As I said, this was the last book which I read this year, and I feel this was the best ever gift 2023. The best ever book I read in 2023. Next, I will move to the ebooks which I have read. So starting with the first 5-star ebook, I have My Favorite Kidnapper by Melanie Morland. This book follows Dante and Brianna. Brianna is kidnapped by Dante, and she is one of the most strongest character who is so against being kidnapped by Dante. But you know, Dante is that character to whom you have an attraction and want to be kidnapped, but you have a strong forefront like, no, I don't want to be kidnapped, I am held against my will and all. And her cat. Let me tell about her cat. Her cat is the sweetest thing, who is very easily bribed by Dante. She's like, oh, Dante, give me something and I'm easily bribed. I'm all for you. I work for you. So that's Brianna's cat. And then we have the most special element of the story, which are the cakes. And cakes, with its sweetness, added more spice to the story. So if you're up for a sweet as well as spicy as well as cute romance, go for this one, because this one is very sweet. With that sarcastic comment, let's move on to Home Run Proposal by Maren Murray. This book follows Lane Collins and Haley. Lane Collins is the perfect bad boy figure with the guy who just has eyes for Haley. and their romance will make you swoon. And the way he calls her Haley girl, you get all the hots for it. You get all the hots for it, and with just the right amount of spice, their book is everything. Honestly, Marin is like my comfort reader. Whenever I feel like, okay, I'm going on a reading slump, I know Marin's book will just bring me out of it. So this book was again one of them which brought me out of my reading slump. And Marin Murray, she writes sports romances so well, so fucking well. You will just love them. So yes, next up I have What the Heart Wants by Nikki Ash, and this book follows Bree, who is a single mom and has gone through many heartbreaks throughout her life, and then comes Hayden and Rudy to rock her life upside down. So as you can understand, this is a MFM romance with strangers to lovers trope and single mom. So what the heart wants in this book, Bree is a baker, and that's where she meets Hayden as well as Bree. The start is so heart-wrenching. Like from the start, you know this is gonna be a special book. This is gonna be a very special book, and till the end, it's a special book. And the end, honestly, for me was a bit unexpected. I don't know about you all, but the end for me was a bit unexpected. But don't worry, they get their happily ever after. This book is really very special and very good, like very very good. With that, moving on to the next book, I have Luna Mare by Pepper Winters, and this book follows Aslan and Nerida. They are like, this book starts as a forbidden romance because they want to have each other, but due to some certain circumstances they can't. And with that, Aslan owes his whole life to Nerida because she is the one who saved her. And the most special thing about this book is its writing. Not only its writing, but the different languages which each chapter starts with. This book is a very powerful book, let me tell you, because it can make you feel joy, happiness, sorrow. And honestly, I at some moment was laughing like a clown, but in the next moment you will find, like, I would find myself sobbing so hard, because this book tugs at the very right strings of your heart. So if you want an emotional roller coaster of a ride, go for this. This is actually a duet, Luna Mare and Coramare. So if you're up for a duet which just pulls the right strings for you, go for this one, because this one, until and unless you read it, you can't understand the emotions which this book contains. Next book is Bleeding Hearts by Jess Taylor. This book follows Demi and Asher. The most interesting part of this book is Asher giving all those sort of silly nicknames to Demi, and the thing is that this book is a book which can make your heart bleed with sorrow, cry with joy. And honestly, Jess is a very good friend of mine, and our friendship started from the book Bleeding Hearts, and that's why I feel this book, the base of this book is like the friendship between Demi and Asher. And honestly, I'm not a bit biased, like I'm not at all biased, but this book, in this book, Jess has put so much thought into each and every conditions. Like there are certain circumstances or difficulties which they face, Demi and Asher face, but at the end of it, you know that they will be together through it all. So if you are up for something new, something dynamic, go for this one. Who doesn't love a filthy boy with dirty mouth, right? So if you are totally up for this vibes, this book is for you. It's called Filthy Boy by Hannah Gray, and this book follows Priya and Rudy. It's a sports romance, college romance, and also friends to lovers. So this book is like two broken souls meant to be meant to be with each other. Like that's the perfect sentence which I can put to describe this book. And honestly, from the first 10% of this book gave me 5-star vibes, and I was definitely not wrong, because till the end of the book it was a total 5-star read for me. Like, we all love the way I started this describing this book. We all love a filthy mouth, so we all love Prudy. But Bria is an amazing and beautiful woman with her pretty amazing skills and jokes. So if you're up for a funny but also with a tinge of, what do you say, tinge of backstory with it, go for it, because this might be the book for you. The next book which I have is one of my favorite tropes, which is Marriage of Convenience, and it's The Wrong Wife by L. Steele. And this book is an enemies to lovers, grumpy sunshine, and obviously Marriage of Convenience. And the thing with this book, Penny and Knight, they were not a love at first sight sort of couple, but you get the full Marriage of Convenience vibes, and that's where suddenly and slowly they start developing feelings for each other. This book is a spicy one, let me tell you. This book is a spicy one, and honestly, this book is a heartbreaking one too, with its tragic past and everything. I'm so sorry if you all are like listening also background noises, because they are from the cars. I'm so sorry for it. Okay, back to it. The Wrong Wife, it's amazing. And honestly, the way the story develops, it will leave you speechless. And there's a point in the story when I just wanted to pick up my Kindle and throw it to the wall. That's the point I'm talking about, and it will surprise you. I know it will surprise you. So yes, that's for The Wrong Wife. If you're up for a Marriage of Convenience vibes, like with the total enemies to lovers things, go for this. Go for this, definitely. The next book is from one of my most favorite authors, and she is also an auto-buy author of mine. This book is Hideaway Heart by Melanie Harlow, and honestly, I already knew, like the moment I downloaded this book, I already knew this was gonna be a 5-star read. This book follows Xander and Kelly. They are freaking amazing. They have a totally hot, sizzling chemistry, which we all love in spicy romance books. And then, what we again love is a strong character who stands up for himself or herself. So, in this book, that character is Kelly. She is one of the most strongest character you will have ever met, and she stands up for herself at the end of the book, and that's where you just know this book is gonna be a totally 5-star read. So I don't want to spoil this book for you more, because if I start speaking about the greatness and amazingness of this book, I'm gonna spoil the book for you. So keeping my mouth shut about this. The next book which I have is so special to me because it has a quote which is like lives rent-free in my heart. And the quote is, I will start with the quote. The quote is, "You are the syrup to my breakfast, Kelsey." And you guys, drum roll please. This book is Everything to Lose by Harlow James, and honestly, I love her. I'm not kidding. I love her writing. I love her books because she has gifted me the Gibson Brothers, who was very special, very exceptionally hot, the perfect brothers you get in a story, or you expect at least to get them. Okay, so with except all that, this book follows Watt and Kelsey. So they are like childhood friends to lovers. They have been present in each other's life even when they were in diapers. So you know how long they have been avoiding each other. Kelsey's like, no, I don't like Watt. He's like a brother to me, and Watt is like, no, she's like a sister to me. And then you are like, okay, Watt, you. And when Kelsey realizes that she likes Watt, she is afraid to approach. And then you are like, okay, with my Kindle, I want to smack both of their heads, because come on, dude, you both of you need some sense. needs at least some sense to instigate you. So that sense was knocked into what by Walker when, like his twin brother Walker, when he kissed Kelsey in front of him. And that's where everything is history. I mean, that's where the story starts, and the rest is history. The next book which I have is the second book in this series, and it's Everything He Couldn't by Harlow James again. And this book follows Watt's twin brother Walker, and honestly, Walker is everything you need to spice your life up a bit. And that's exactly what happens in the book. Evelyn is Walker's best friend's girlfriend. So Walker starts developing feelings for her, but unfortunately for him, his best friend is the one who snags her first. And tragically for both of them, Evelyn loses her boyfriend and Walker his best friend. So that's the point, or that's the climax from where the story starts. Evelyn is left pregnant, and to fight the custody for her child, she needs the help of Walker, and that's when Walker offers the inevitable. He offers to marry her, and for the rest of it, you need to read it. But honestly, this book was so freaking perfect, and this book is gonna make you feel things. I know I say this too much, but definitely this book is gonna make you feel things, make you cry, make you support them more, make you fight for them. So that's a whole lot of make yous. So if you want to feel them, go for this one. The next book which I have for you all is Ruthless Arrangement by Brooke Summers. This book follows Elio and Tegan. Let me tell you, before reading this book, you should search up for trigger warnings for this one, because this book has a lot of trigger warnings. And before starting, I would like to say that Tegan is a very strong character who faces various abuses throughout her life. But Elio is a ruthless mafia boss who is who believes strongly that Tegan is like her father. But unfortunately, he does not know the truth and binds her into a forced marriage. And when we talk about Tegan, we should definitely talk about her tragic past. Her brothers were abusive, her father was abusive. So before diving into this book, as I said, you should search up for trigger warnings, because this book has a really dark undertone to it. And honestly, that the dark undertone is the one, if you're reading it, the dark undertone will instigate various feelings in you. So get ready for it as well. The next book is, if you want a cute sports romance, go for this one. This book is First Meet Foul by Jacqueline Snowy. This book follows Luca and Laurelie. Look, let me first give a brief. Laurelie and Luca, they are amazing. You will laugh from the starting of the book till the end, because there is a point when they meet Laurelie's ex, and that is the part where you will laugh the most. I at least laughed the most at that part. And there is a character who always is special to you other than the main characters. In this book, it was Luca's grandma, and let me tell you, she was amazing. She was amazing. She is the one who created such circumstances that they were forced to give into each other's feelings. So if you want a cute sports romance, go for this one. The next book which I have is a book by M. Robinson, and it's Perfect Enemy. This book follows Chase and Cove, and honestly, this book has a series of events. There is something or the other going on this book constantly, and you will die with anticipation in this book. There is romance, there is thrill, and there is again romance, again thrill. So it's like a constant back and forth in this book. And the interesting thing is that this book took me the shortest time to read in this whole year. This book I completed in just 3 hours straight. I didn't get up to do anything. I was just sitting there with my Kindle, my mom's giving me stares, but I read this book within 3 hours, and Let me tell you a secret. I feel that if I would have read the book more slowly, I would have got, like, I would have spent more time with them. The next book is a single dad nanny romance, and it's The Sneak Peek by Victoria Wilder. And honestly, more than the MCs, I liked Miles and Sammy, who are Michael's children. Michael is the MC, and then there is Grace, who is a badass character, and she has no limits, no boundaries to express her sexual desires to you. So the thing is that this book has a subdom thing going on, and if it's a trigger for you, don't go for this, because that's what I found interesting in this book. And also it's a slow burn, so you have to have the patience to slowly enjoy this book, and to get to the to get experience the spiciness in this. The next book is a book with a very dreamy title, and it's Under the Stars by Laura Pavlov. And if you all have followed me on Instagram, you all know how much I love her writings. And same goes for this one. This book follows Georgie and Maddox. And Maddox is a grumpy dude, grumpy businessman who thinks of hiring Georgie as a personal assistant. And the funniest part of this book is, just from the first meeting, Georgie starts bugging Maddox. And the cute part of this book is Georgie being named Tink after Tinkerbell, and Maddox being called Bossman by Georgie. So this book is a workplace romance, and this is amazing. Their constant back and forth, the banter between them, it's cute. And then again, when Maddox opens up about his past to Georgie, you are gonna ugly cry at that part of the book, because I cry. So yes, if you're up for a dreamy as well as a spicy and again a laugh out loud funny book with a tinge of sadness, go for this one. Okay, so the next book is from one of my very favorite authors. It's King by S.J. Tilly, and this book has an unexpected start. And it's like you are like, what the fuck is happening in this book, dude? So this book follows King, obviously, and Savannah, and they are perfect. I didn't expect King to suddenly kidnap her, and then he's like, okay, Savannah, you need to marry me. So that's where you are like, slack job. Okay, dude, what are you asking for? And the most interesting part is there is Duke, the pet dog, and people will find him dangerous, but I found him stinking cute. And honestly, Savannah is an amazing woman who is not afraid to stand up for herself, and she is neither afraid of King. So when everybody is afraid of the mob boss, you are not afraid, and that's the vibe that is just gonna pull you through the book. So if you're up for a mafia romance with a strong FMC, go for this one. The next book which I have is a third person POV, and it's Charm Me by Samantha Cheese. This book follows Fallon and Jamie. And honestly, they are amazing because Jamie works in a pub, and suddenly his 1 week old son Asher shows up on his porch. Then what do you expect him to do? He's scared out of his mind, but from the first sight, he has a deep love for his son, and that's where the childhood nemesis, the childhood nemesis have a strong bonding. And so, as you'll expect the story to progress, but one thing is, the best part for me in this book is the Donovan family, because they are overwhelming, but they are surprisingly amazing, and you love them for what they do, for the push, for being the invisible push for Jamie's and Fallon's story. So the next book is one of my most unexpected 5-star read of this year. It's In the Grave by B.B. Reed, and first I found it hard to get into the book, and then once I got into the hang of this book, and then I was like, okay, what hit me? This book follows Rowdy and Atlas. They are enemies to lovers. They constantly keep on teasing and bugging each other. But then, in some serious moments, you found Rowdy telling Atlas that you do remember, right? That you are attracted to me, and that's where you see the funny, like the tinge of funny side of Rowdy. And this book was really amazing. Honestly, I felt like I would give this one a 4 star because it was hard for me to get in, and then I was like, no, this book deserves a 5 star. So from how my mind totally shifted. So I guess that's enough reason for you all to read it. Okay, now this book is for you if you want a book with a very special character. This book is called Call It Home by Emmy Montgomery, and this book, the special character which I was talking about is Mayor Sterling. Once you read this book, you will definitely know it. So this book follows Mac and Cam. Like, they start the book with pulling each other's hair out, like they fight so much, and then suddenly they are thrown into a reality competition. That's where everything starts. And what happens in a reality show, like they are bound to spend the time together, and they start spending. And Mac is the perfect hero you would expect, with his broody exterior and his amazing sense of humor, is pun intended. Like, once you read the book, you will definitely understand what I'm talking about. And Cam is a very strong badass character who is trying very hard to establish herself in the construction industry, because according to the society, it's like just an industry for men. So to break that stereotype, she's trying very hard. So, like, if you want a funny book with with the right sense of humor and the right amount of spice, go for this one. The next book is very close to my heart. This book is called Love Me Today by A.L. Jackson. This book follows Caleb and Paisley, and Caleb is out for revenge and there to protect his sister's daughter, Evelyn. And honestly, the most special part of this book is the bond between Evelyn and Paisley, because their bond is amazing and pure. Then there is Caleb, who is fighting all his demons, and that's where the story gets more interesting. You get more interest to read it. And honestly, Evelyn, she was such a cute little girl who, going from, like, when she meets Paisley, she directly jumps from being a traumatic child to a happy child. And that transition, that bond, the way Caleb and Paisley fight the demons together, it's amazing. And with A.L. Jackson writing the story, this book was taken to new heights. The next book which I have for you all is Shadows of You by Catherine Nichols, and this book follows Rowan and Aspen. And this book is one of the most emotional books I read this year, because both of them with Caddy, because Aspen is a single mom, is amazing. Like, Katharina did a great, or like a freaking fantastic job portraying all the emotions the characters went through. And when the characters are happy, you are feeling happy. When the characters are sad, you are sad. When the characters are crying, you are crying. So it takes a lot of effort to write such a perfect book. And honestly, this book is like one of the books which made me feel that it can bring out the distinct emotions which you are going through, or which the characters are going through in the book. Next book is from one of my most favorite authors. It's Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. This is one of her most recent releases, and this book follows Julian and Dahlia. You all know how much I love reading Lauren Asher's writing, and this book is the perfect mixture of enemies to lovers, small town romance. So if you want a book with all those vibes, definitely pick this one up. Like, this book is special because both of their families definitely want them to be together, and like, both of the families are in very good terms, but it's Dahlia and Julian who are constantly fighting over something or the other. So when Dahlia returns to a small town after a heartbreak, she is forced to meet her attraction with Julian, and that's when everything starts happening. The next book is again a hockey romance. It's by L.A. Cotton and it's On Thin Ice. This book follows Harper and Mason. Mason has a brother, Scotty, who is dealing with autism. And the way Harper and Mason both care for Scotty, it's and the bond is what made the book or took the book to a different level. And Mason's love for his family, which you generally don't get to see in many books, was amazing. And Mason and Harper, like the transition from not being able to be in a room together to not being able to go a single day without touching each other, was amazing. Like that's what you were reading the story for, along with Scotty's autism. Like the ways the book dealt with the things was perfect. The next book is Forbidden Hearts by Corny Michaels, and this book is a book where you just keep on falling in love with the characters. This book follows I'm sorry. This book follows Asher and Phoebe and Asher's child Olivia. So Olivia has a hearing disability, and the amazing part of this book is how her disability was treated. And honestly, Asher and Phoebe cared for Olivia so much, and they were the same with each other. So honestly, this book is amazing with all the single dad vibes and the hotness Asher has with him, because he is again the top sheriff, which you all love. Like sheriff with all the holy hotness. Perfect. Perfect. So yes, that is what the book is about. If you are up for a single dad romance, go for this one. Again, this is not a single dad nanny romance. Next up, I have a huge sports romance for you all. It's a hockey romance. It's Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. This is one of the most recent releases of her. This book follows Pippa, who is like in search for a passion of music, and on the other hand, it follows Jamie, because Jamie is a grumpy dude, but all softy within his heart for Pippa. And then there is Daisy, because of whom they meet, and that's where the relationship starts. This was definitely a cute book with all their teasing, texting, and definitely pinning over each other since high school. And the tension in the story got at such heights that I was like, okay, Jamie and Pippa, what are you waiting for? You need to give into that. You need to give into that damn tension which I can see brewing from outside the book. You are in a fictional world, I am in a real world, but I can already see it brewing. And it's got to a place where that when the tension burst and they finally gave in, and I was like, okay dude, that was to be done far before, like long before you needed to do this. If you want to go for a sleigh ride after Christmas, post Christmas, which is this time, definitely pick this book up. It's A Festive Feud by Maren Murray, and this book follows Emma and Jackson. Like, who doesn't love a holiday romance during the holidays, right? So with that mentality, I dived into this book, and when I found out that this was an enemies to lovers, I love this one. I definitely started loving this one more, like, because it all starts from a misunderstanding, and when finally you get to the point where you know what the misunderstanding was, you are like, bro, you should have resolved this months ago. Why did you wait this long? So yes, that's all. Like, I want you all to read this book to know the essence of the book, essence of this book, because this book, perfect. I know I said many of the books were perfect, but honestly, for me, 5-star reads are always amazing, because they have something special. They have a special connection to my heart, and they always pull those invisible strings of your heart. If you know, you know. So yes, that's all for today. These were my 5-star reads of the year 2023. I hope you all had an amazing reading year, or amazing year in general. So with that, signing off for the year 2023. Let's meet in the next year, 2024. Happy New Year in advance.